So then I said, I'll get on the end of your ball in a minute. Yo, what do you mean? You can't just... Yeah, lads, I've got some bad news for you. There's parking the bus and then there's this, am I right? If I lied down on the floor in front of this bus, would it be enough to end me? Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This of course is the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, more slapping off, to be honest. Oh, wow! After Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith at the Oscars, her husband Will took to the stage and hit the comedian on live television. Yeah, look, he could be in trouble here. We might have to hand this one over to Peter Walton. Yeah, mate, he's clarted him. On a level, I was in a state of shock when I first saw this. He's got up, strolled over, and turned him into Christopher Pebble. Now, look, I know Will Smith's in the middle of doing something here, but I just had to say that Beyonce had the best video for the whole... Look, Chris is lucky that Jada's other love interests weren't there. Otherwise, this would have looked like a five-a-side brawl. I think the joke was probably a little bit over the line from Chris. However, it's a pretty wild reaction from Will overall. But you can't mess with a man who's banned August from all of his home's calendars. Now, it's been international break this week in the football, which is bad news for everyone, except Everton fans. We've had time to have a break from the football. Get a hobby, try dating maybe, reconnect with the family. So, you're a mum now. You are literally my son. Before we get into the World Cup qualifiers though, when we start with England, who beat Switzerland and Cote d'Ivoire 2-1 and 3-0 respectively in friendlies. It was a chance for fans to see different personnel on show here, unless you're out getting alcohol poisoning. Gareth Southgate had a chance to try new things. Despite the squad being 76% right backs, he chose to play Ben White there. Or for some, maybe this was their big break. This guy coming on from the crowd would make the substitution a little bit difficult. But the big talking point of this for England was the fans' reaction to centre-back Harry Maguire, who was booed when he received the ball versus Cote d'Ivoire. To be fair to England fans, they've been paying good money here. At least give them Connor Cody or something. Ultimately, he's not looked well equipped for elite football this season. He had a better average rating in lockdown 1, and no one was even playing then. There's more people on his back here than there ever was in his time at Mykonos. You're under arrest, sunshine. Have you seen how big my head is? I'll headbutt you. There was a questionable video that went viral on Twitter of him failing to understand the rules of a one-touch training drill this week.
42, 43.
I'm about to disrupt a football match.
Now, the outrage has been pretty big, with his teammates and even rival clubs alike showing support for Harold. Joe Gomez received similar treatment from fans after a fallout and altercation with Raheem Sterling, but didn't receive quite as much support online, though I guess this pile-on for Harry Maguire has been going on for a lot longer now. One thing I don't understand, though, is why here? He's actually pretty alright for England. You're booing a United player, fam, you support QPR, why do you even care? Opposition Premier League fans should be thankful. He's responsible for at least 25% of your goals this season. I'm obviously joking, and I do hope Harry finds his form for England. Marcus Rashford had his essay ready. Elsewhere though, and away from the drama, Jack Grealish met a young Aston Villa fan.
You okay? Who do you support?
Villa.
Villa, yeah.
You're awful.
Bet you don't like me anymore then, do you?
Meanwhile, for the homeland, and all Nigeria had to do was beat Ghana to qualify for the World Cup. No, stop, Niran, because we all know how this goes. You build it up to be dramatic, and then you show the score like, see, I told you, we all knew.
Tough time last.
Get me out of here, man. I don't need this sport in my life. Buy one yam, get another yam for the same price as the first one. Nigeria will not be at the Qatar World Cup after an away goals defeat to Ghana in the Jollof Derby. Who are Argentina gonna slap about in the group stages now? The hashtag for this game was very, very mad indeed. Who? I just don't understand how a nation of 200 million people can't produce 11 competent footballers. Ademola Lookman's been Nigerian for one game, and he already wants to be English again. We should have known when we rented a plane that was too tall for the stairs when we travelled to the first leg. Francis Uzoho will be disappointed with his role in Ghana's goal. Why can't our shot stoppers just choose to be normal?
I don't want peace. I want problems, always.
He conceded the all-important goal to Thomas Partey, who met his lookalike this week. This is Thomas Partey and Thomas Small gathering. But listen, good luck to Ghana in the overall tournament. I still love to see all the African nations do well at a World Cup. And trust me, I'm definitely not going to be bitter at all. Elsewhere in qualification and in a rematch of the AFCON final, Egypt and Senegal faced off for a spot at the World Cup. Egypt got revenge in the only way possible, by losing in the exact same way as before. It was heartache for Salah and co again, as a penalties defeat for them saw Senegal qualify. There's going to be tense scenes between Sadio and Salah back at Liverpool training. Look, Sadio knows his stock is high at the moment. It's just a shame FSG won't rise to his wage demands.
How much is this?
149, sir.
I've got 50p. Fuck you, bastard.
As I said though, this game went to penalties and all of the first four were missed. In that situation, both teams just have to go home. Though part of the problem was Senegalese fans shining lasers onto the pitch and in players' faces. First of all with the Egyptian goalkeeper, then with Salah before he missed his spot kick. I'm not surprised, the place probably looked like part life to him. His face is a green screen, for crying out loud. There's a Senegalese fan here holding his laser pen at the pitch as if he's summoning at Hogwarts. Fucking hell, mate. Alright, calm down. I feel for Mo, though, because he's going to get blamed for this defeat, even though the last shining light in this generation for Egypt was Ahmed El Mohammadi. It's alright, though. Him and Trent can watch the finals from home when Gareth Southgate inevitably leaves him out for no reason. Yep, I'll have Seamus Coleman, thank you. He's Irish, Gareth. And 56. Back in Europe, and I've spoken about Italy's exit in a previous video, but just to remind you, they were knocked out of the qualifying playoffs by North Macedonia. The nation that beat them in their original group was Switzerland, and their fans brought a banner to their most recent game with a Google search for Italy at the World Cup, and then a did you mean Switzerland? 10 out of 10 for creativity, and 10 out of 10 for housery. I must admit, it probably isn't a great time for Italian football fans right now. It's probably not a great time to be Roberto Mancini either, after his mum came out criticising Jorginho and gave her thoughts on what went wrong for her son's side. See, I told you, you're not eating healthily enough. Mum, please, this wouldn't have happened if you'd just eaten your greens. There is no correlation between those. What it does mean for Italy is they've not played a single knockout game in the World Cup since 2006. Back when George Bush was president, Gnarls Barkley Crazy was the best-selling single in the UK, and James Milner was only 42. The side that knocked them out, North Macedonia, unfortunately couldn't go all the way as Portugal beat them in their playoff final. Numbers of Susans have risen astronomically in the area. And there could be some new Cristianos running around as well, as these two girls brought a banner to the Portugal-North Macedonia game asking for Cristiano to donate them some... yeah, I don't know.
No. No, God, no.
Nah, mate, this can't run. Ron, you can't be within a 2-mile radius of these lot. Get yourself on a plane out of there, unless it's traveling to the USA. The star of the show, though, in this one was Bruno Fernandes, who scored both goals in a 2-0 win. It's a World Cup playoff, so it's a pretty big game, and he gets criticised for not performing in those. However, it was against North Macedonia. I guess he's found his level then, in that case. Meanwhile, for Wales, and they found their way into a playoff final after a win over Austria. And it was thanks largely to a Gareth Bale masterclass and wonder free kick.
It's Bale! Oh! Just magic!
We got live scenes of Gareth leaving the medical centre at Madrid when international breaks start. After completing just 2 of his last 57 training days, Carlo Ancelotti must have been bemused seeing this performance.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
As you can imagine, Real Madrid fans were annoyed because... well, they're Real Madrid fans. He was labelled a parasite in Spanish media, and it didn't get much better on TV either. Now, Bale actually responded, calling out the Spanish media and, well, just media sources in general for failing to consider the mental health of these celebrities when attacking them publicly. Now, I completely agree, because Gareth Bale's been getting slandered in Spain well before he was injury prone and way before he started intentionally annoying the club. I'm glad Gareth is strong enough to deal with it though, otherwise I was going to give the advice of just not looking at it. Now, but for real, the media in the UK and abroad, just generally football-wise, has a lot to answer for in terms of its effect on mental health issues. For me though, Gaz, if I could call you that, just go all out, mate. Annoy them as much as possible. Sign for Atletico and shag Karim Benzema's wife.
Keep my wife's name
Canada qualified for their first World Cup since 1986 this week, booking their place at Qatar with a 4-0 win over Jamaica. Alphonso Davies wasn't playing, but his live reaction was just as wholesome. Done! At the time of recording, the USA haven't joined them just yet, but it would take a 6-0 loss not to. They backed out the banner saying they qualified before the final game, which is a pretty bold strategy. Down in South America, and one man has had enough of working behind the cameras. You know what? On this, man, I could do a job. Hi, yo, so... as you can see, there's football. There was drama as Peru faced off against Uruguay. A goal they felt should have stood when the goalkeeper brought the ball back across his own line wasn't given by the referee despite consulting VAR. It looked fully in from certain angles, though it was pretty close. And you know what? I'm going to share some wisdom with the referee here on how to make this better. Welcome to Niran's Advice Corner. As a referee, use your eyes. And that concludes Niran's Advice Corner. Fans at home decided to use their own VAR systems. Thankfully for Peru, though, they did at least still claim a playoff spot. And in Brazil, Neymar... why are you holding that there, boss, man? I don't know if that's... oh, now suddenly Morocco beat DR Congo in African World Cup qualifying as well. There was concern for their concussed goalkeeper. He took 2 blows to the head before eventually being substituted. He doesn't know what day of the week it is. September. That isn't a day. What? And Algeria's manager was left distraught after a last-minute Cameroon winner dashed their hopes of making the World Cup. Look, if Nigeria can't make it through, then Nigeria can. In Europe, and France played South Africa in a friendly. They won 5-0, and at full time, one South African player asked Paul Pogba for a photo. What, did he have his smartphone in his back pocket during the game? If Paul Pogba wasn't on his phone so often, you wouldn't see this kind of foolishness in the game. Antoine Griezmann's busy in training, working on his heading technique.
Harry Kane!
I wonder if this is a mutual shout every time they score. Fucking Antoine Griezmann. And N'Golo Kante's birthday was celebrated by himself and the rest of the French squad. Oh man, he looks like a 12-year-old at Christmas. He still definitely writes a list to Santa. There was wholesome stuff in Denmark too, where 290 days after his cardiac arrest at Euro 2020, Christian Eriksen returned to the stadium it happened at and scored there. It's lovely to see the Dane officially back. Norway demolished Armenia 9-0 in their friendly. Imagine being poor Armenian fishermen, seeing Erling Haaland turn up to the stadium. Look, listen, I'm sorry. If you're almost losing a game double digits, I don't know how you can even be relegated from friendlies, but it has to happen. And at Belgium, where one fan had found the entire squad and coaching staff, the youngster approached Thierry Henry to ask if he could get a picture with Divock Origi instead. I like this. He's recognized the true GOAT in this squad. Now, there's some crazy headlines involving Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich at the moment. He's obviously going through the process of attempting to sell Chelsea Football Club, but he's had his assets frozen, and he was allegedly poisoned at a set of negotiations at the start of the month. These government sanctions are getting out of control. He has made a recovery now, but he did have some pretty wild side effects right at the start. It's just the fact it was so casually announced. Hey, yo, this apple juice kind of tastes a bit mad. Oh, fucking hell. How have I ended up here? On a level, glad that himself and the 2 Ukrainian negotiators, who apparently were also poisoned, have made a full recovery now. Crucially, it does call into question the safety of those involved in Russia-Ukraine peace talks. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Paramedics were called onto the field, so here's a different angle at it.
And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Now, closer to home, and there was the news that Jeff Stelling was leaving Sky Sports. Well, it turns out he's decided to stay on.
I'm not fucking leaving!
Mate, Martin Tyler saw Game of Thrones happen live. How is he not retiring first? Harvey Elliott posted himself with, I assume, his new missus on Insta and received a comment about being with quite a few girls over a recent time. It was from a United fan, and he took the opportunity to tell them that he treats them well, unlike a certain United footballer. And down in the Vanarama National League, after being 5-2 down, Eriksen came back to win 6-5 against Dover. This is true Hollywood stuff.
An absolute classic underneath the floodlight.
In Spain, and Athletic Club B scored an unbelievable goal this week. To celebrate the Oscars kicking off this week, Spanish side Celta Vigo thought that they'd add their own nomination for Best Actor into the mix, throwing back to this disgusting dive from Cristiano Ronaldo a few years back. It's a shithousery award for the La Liga outfit. Over in Germany, and Bayern CEO is concerned about the competitiveness of the Bundesliga, suggesting the big teams are having too much influence and are too hard to overcome. What? You are the big teams, mate. You nab everyone else's players. Up in Scotland, and in a Rangers Legends game, there was a wholesome goal for Paul Gascoigne.
He's miscued. He might have another chance though. Gascoigne. Oh, it's in! Paul Gascoigne for Ray.
But pre-match, he invited his agent's son onto the pitch and was taking absolutely no prisoners there. In France, and apparently according to former midfielder Gregory Sertic, Bordeaux staff have been banned from talking to Bordeaux senior players. All right, yep, so what did you need? Are you gonna respond like, I need to know why you called me in? Is that sign language? Elsewhere in Italy, and Fiorentina have announced they've got a new badge from this point onwards. Understandably, compared to the old one, the fans hate it. It looks like they've condensed it down to lower printing costs. But now on to our goal of the week, and it might not be as impressive as a few of the ones that we've had before, but I just love it for the context, alright? It comes from Uganda, and I think the lower divisions, potentially, of Uganda. And the team cohesion and link-up play on show with this goal makes it my favourite goal of the week.
Tricky affair it will be as they try to take a chance in here now. You are Beautiful. Going for goal number 3.
Over at Singapore versus the Philippines, and it seems like we've got 100% ball retention here. Brazilian left-back Marcelo went to watch his son play for one of Real Madrid's youth teams this week, and after watching his kid score, this was his reaction in the stands. There's the news over in Turkey that Mesut Ozil has been suspended by his club Fenerbahce. We've got Mikel Arteta's live reaction from London here. In Japan, and we've got food at a stadium here. It's literally a kiwi and sausage pizza, and it was sold out. Was this game happening at a prison or something? In Colombia, and one goalkeeper scored a last-minute free kick to win his side the game, and it's the second game in a row that he scored in to win his team the game. Are we really sure he should be in goal, lads? In Chile, and after a player kicked the ball into the crowd for a kid to have, trying to do kick-ups there and then was probably not the best idea he could have had. Brazilian TikTok star Iran Ferreira has taken the platform by storm for his footballing capabilities. I mean, genuinely, he gets into the Norwich starting 11. His dreams came true this week when he met Ronaldinho for the first time. In Thailand, and you've probably got to ask yourself what sort of conditions it would take for a game to get postponed there.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Indonesia's been providing a lot of clips recently, and it's back again here, where the referee was accidentally tripped here by Mohamed Rashid, and he wasn't best pleased about the situation, stopping play and yellow carding him. Has he given a free kick to himself then, or... Now that it's time for still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now, this is the segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And you guessed it, we're back in Indonesia again, this time at amateur level. And you see aggression pretty regularly in Sunday League football. Emotions run high and feelings spill out. They've not just spilled out here, they've fully exploded, I'm afraid. Good luck to the referee on who to give cards to there. On to the weird stuff though now. First of all, over in the 4th tier of Macedonia, where OFK Bitola beat Atletico, not that one, 2-0 in a game that didn't run its full course. That's because Atletico only had 7 players to start the game, and then when another one got injured in the 8th minute, they simply didn't have enough players to keep the match going. In the French 7th division, and a referee was punched and hospitalized in a game between Le Côte Saint-André and Trinity Lyon after conceding a goal, a player from Trinity Lyon punched one of the opposition. Now, obviously, he was sent off for this and then decided to punch the referee too, breaking the official's nose. There's a story over in the Greek amateur 3rd division where 47-year-old veteran striker George Zacharakis scored 13 goals in his side's 14-all draw, only to realize that the opposition had been intentionally letting him score because they wanted him to be the top goal scorer at the end of his final season. So because of this, he's asked that the goals have been rescinded. And finally, there's an absolutely ridiculous story coming out of Staines, a lower league side in England. Now, this is a long story that I may cover in an entire video all on its own, to be honest. But the crux of the problem is the owner of the club believes that the company that owns their club stadium aren't running the facility properly. They've apparently come across evidence that links this company that own their stadium to an outrageous amount of crime, including deforestation, forced eviction, human rights abuse, slavery, and much more. I don't even know how this has happened. I don't even know why this is coming out of like a 8th-tier English football side. But whatever is going on, I'm going to get to the bottom of it, and you might see a full video on the topic soon. That, though, is going to wrap up a whirlwind of an FTW. If you've enjoyed this video, then feel free to slap a like on it, and of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.